Okay, thank you. So it gives me great pleasure, really does, to welcome everybody this morning. And first of all, we're going to kick off our programme with a live on demand. And we've got three people here who's going to give us a presentation for 30 minutes. And then we're going to be joined by Ollie Bragg, who's going to be a cookery demonstration, which is fantastic. It's the first for me, it's the first anyway on a Zoom presentation. So as I said, I've been hugely looking forward to this. So with no further ado, I'm going to hand you over to Isobel.
Yeah, I'll do a quick 2 minutes, well, less than that, and then I'll hand you over to Ben.
Okay, great.
Brilliant. Thanks, Karen. As ever, it's a real pleasure to be here this morning. Most of you know me, I think. I'm Isobel Jones. I'm the CEO of the charity Alive. We're here to talk to you this morning. I've got Ben, who's my business development manager, and then Marcia, who we've worked with from Bristol Care Homes for a long time. And just want to say a huge thank you to Marcia for giving up her time to kind of join in and support us. So thank you very much. We're going to be talking to you a little bit this morning about Alive on Demand. I won't say too much because I want Ben to be able to talk about that in a minute, but it's been something that we've been developing over the last few years, and it's a real privilege to be able to share it, actually. So without further ado, I'll hand you over to Ben. It's been Ben's baby, really, I think, over the last few years, so that's kind of why I really wanted him to share and to talk about it. So Ben, over to you.
Ben, I think you're on mute.
Let's talk to you about tech and not know anything about tech. We've all done it. I apologise. I'm Ben from Alive, and I'm here to talk to you about Alive on Demand. So just really quickly, for those that don't know, so we are Alive Activities, and my presentation isn't working. So those who don't know, we're a charity dedicated to improving the quality of life of older people and their carers. So we engage older people creatively through meaningful activity sessions. We train and support care staff to enhance older people's well-being and deliver outstanding care at every opportunity. We reduce older people's social isolation by connecting them to their local communities, and we speak up for the rights of older people in care to those with the power to improve their lives. So that's what we've been doing for years and years. Alive on Demand did start as a sort of COVID response. We were trying to do everything virtual, as everybody was, and the main request that we were getting is people having to cancel sessions for various reasons. So lots and lots of people were saying, is there not something that you can do where we could just access it when we want to access it? And that's where Alive on Demand was born. We've already won a technology award at the Markel Third Sector Care Awards, and there's a little picture of us all receiving the award. It's a massive honour, such early stages, to be even considered for the award, but then to go and actually win it was incredible, and none of us were actually expecting it. So that was a little confidence boost to know that we're doing something right. So what is Alive on Demand? It is essentially a dementia-friendly video streaming platform. It's all designed to inform, engage, and spark conversation. We've currently got over 250 unique videos, so it's all completely original content, 100% original, filmed by us, designed by and for older people. And like I said, it's all designed to spark conversation. What we're trying to do is bridge the gap between technology and face-to-face engaging activity. So we don't want this to replace face-to-face activity. We want it to be a tool to assist activity workers and loved ones of those living with dementia. We've also got every guided tour that we go to do. We do a sensory edit as well. So the idea is there's something for absolutely everybody, no matter where you are in your dementia journey, or if you're not even there yet. The beauty of it is it can be used 24/7. You don't need to be trained in activity to be able to use it. We put a massive emphasis on the whole home approach. When I've been going out to do sort of onboarding and demos, I've had cleaners ask if they can come and sit in. And of course, we do encourage that, because anything can be activity no matter where you are and what you're doing. It can be 30 seconds of going in and opening somebody's curtains, and it's just trying to engage them. So this does work beautifully as a group activity. So if you've got sort of your 11 a.m., your activity session, this works really, really well. But it does also work really well just on a one-to-one level, just again, engaging and sparking those conversations. Each of the videos is then complemented. This is what sort of sets us aside from our competition. Each video is complemented by additional resources. And the idea is you turn that video into well-rounded and engaging activity. So we've got bits and bobs, like all of our guided reminiscence videos have quizzes that we've made on there. And they're visual prompt quizzes, so that you can print something out. You can put it up on a big screen if that's how you want to play it, but you can print it out so that people have something physical in their hand. And again, it's trying to encourage that engagement. I'm going to do a really quick demo of the platform. I'm very aware that Marcia is going to do a much better job of saying how she utilizes it in her home. So I'm going to go really quick. But there are different ways to navigate the platform. So similar to your Netflix and your Amazon Prime and all of that, you can search by keywords. If you're with somebody who really likes football, you can search football, and that'll bring up all the related content to football. But you're also able to filter. And that's what I'm just going to take you to now. So can you all see the Alive On Demand platform? Yep. Cool. So this is our top banner. This is the homepage. When you've logged in, this is exactly what you'll see. And this is our home banner. We are doing something called New Release Tuesdays at the moment. So every Tuesday we release new videos, and we pop them up here. So these are all the ones that are in the banner at the moment in the carousel. So when a new release comes out, it will go first to the list. So if you're using this regularly, just keep an eye on that top banner, and that'll be all the new content. We do also on a Tuesday with the new release, we send out an email, and it's an idea. We're not telling you how to suck eggs. It's an idea for a session plan. So it's how we think best to utilize the video and the additional resources that go with it. And the idea is that is an hour's activity. So like I was saying, just underneath the banner is the filters option. You've got all your normal ways of sort of filtering things. So all the categories, authors. If one author is working particularly well with a resident or a group, you can bring up all of the other videos by searching for the filter by the author, sorry, in there. But what we're most proud of is the level of dementia and the video length. So level of dementia, you can do all, and that will just bring up absolutely every video. You can do none to early dementia. And that's the sort of more information heavy and fact-based for the more cognitively able. We've then got the advanced dementia, and that will be the sort of sensory edits that I was talking about earlier. I would love to show you some examples, but we don't have enough time. But one example, which has been really, really popular, is we've got a camera sort of on the driver's view on a train going through, and it's all designed to calm distressed behaviours. It's just really relaxing. I do actually use them if I'm struggling to sleep. I sometimes put one on, and I do find them really, really calming. It's just the ambient noises. You can hear the tracks, the train going along, and sort of snippets of conversations and things. It is really beautiful. And then you've also got your everybody, and that's more for group activity. So if you've got varying levels of cognitive ability in one group, click on everybody, and that will bring up something suitable for everybody. And I do always find that you can talk and talk and talk, but actually sometimes just showing a quick video is more explanatory. So I'm just going to make sure my sound's on. And it's just a 2-minute video, and then I'm going to hand over to Marcia. Can you hear that?
The videos on Alive On Demand are absolutely brilliant. Our residents really love it. Residents that don't even interact that much, they've interacted, they start giggling, they remember stuff, their naughtiness comes out. It's absolutely brilliant. We have residents that will be like, oh, are we doing a live on demand this week? I'm like, yep, every Wednesday, yep, we're doing it. So it's really good.
It was very good. I enjoyed it ever so much.
Some pretty hair slides, like these ones here.
Because it's nice to remember things like the curlers, and I used to give my mum a twink perm, and it was little wishbone curlers. Yeah, it's nice to remember.
Blues of England. Can you remember that song?
Yeah.
Not sure if it was a chart topper.
Literally, they absolutely love it. I can't fault it, and I really appreciate that Alive has even Alive on Demand came to our doorsteps. So yeah, thank you, Alive.
Thank you very much, because giving us time to think about things and remember things.
Sound is off.
Okay. We really want Alive on Demand to be a collaboration. We don't want to tell people what they want to see. So we really, really value any feedback, positive or negative. And Marcia from Bristol Care Homes has been incredible from the very, very beginning, telling us what is working and what isn't working. So yeah, from every subscriber, we really want feedback, positive or negative is really, really useful. So thank you very much, Marcia, and I will hand over to you.
Thank you very much for having me. So my name is Marcia, and I am the Social Engagement and Wellbeing Manager for Bristol Care Homes Group. So we are a group of 4 homes across Bristol, and I oversee the activities and the teams throughout all of the homes, making sure we're always bringing new things to the residents. Okay, so what I'm going to do with you today is I'm about to share with you our experiences of Alive on Demand, starting with why we love Alive on Demand. Well, it's the ability to customize your session. You got many.
I think we've lost Marcia.
I think we have.
Oh, no.
Carers, you know, it's just the nature of the home. It comes down to time. So it also offers obviously a wide variety, which I love about it is because there is something for everyone. You have got a lot of hobby related topics to engage in. Childhood, I mean, you can't go wrong with childhood really, because that we can all relate to that. So we often use that. So we have used it a lot during the COVID pandemic time, which was quite a tough time for everybody, but we seem to be using it a lot more now. Not entirely sure. I think we can more like come together in groups and we can mix together more. So we are using it very, very often throughout all of the homes, at least 3-4 times a week, or just spontaneously. So we build into the program as well, which I'm going to talk to you about. I've got my notes down here. So if you see me looking down, I just don't want to miss anything out. Okay. It also serves as a really good backup plan when plan A doesn't go to plan. Now, I know that speaking to many people doing activities, that has happened many times. You may have had an entertainer, you've got a group of people, you're expecting somebody to come in, do a sensory session or whatever, and it doesn't work because their cars broke down or something like that. So we need to think of a plan B, and Alive on Demand has got our back all the time. You can always go to Alive on Demand for that. It's very easy to use as well. Very, very easy, even for residents to use it as well. Staff, family members, we like everybody to be engaged when they come into the home. What I love about it as well is the conversation prompts it gives you during the topic, if that's the one you're going to be watching. So there's time for engagement, for talking, sharing experiences. And again, the opportunity to use it as a printout also, so you can have something to hold. Okay, so I'm going to go into some ideas of how we have used it so far. In fact, all of these, we've done it, okay? So there are many varied ways of using the Alive on Demand. So we have, first of all, before you think of using it, we always sort of look at the individual residents that are going to be viewing the videos, and we take into account the residents' cognition, their visual, their hearing impairment, their concentration span, their communication, whether or not they can retain the information, you know, all these things we think about. Have they got their hearing aids, their glasses? The best way for them to get an effective response is just to check with that out first. So I've got some examples a bit later. Well, I sound as if I'm going to be here forever, but I'm not. Right, okay, that's coming up. So, so whatever the outcome will be for that specific individual, there is a way, there is something for everyone, okay. So some examples are, obviously using it on the iPad, one-to-one, the resident can use it independently with some guidance from yourself, okay. You can use it, we've used it with a resident in bed as well. So we have the iPad either in front of the resident, or we've actually connected to their television through the HDMI route through there, so they can have it a little bit bigger. And then again, if you really want to, which we've tried, is we have connected a mobile projector screen. Okay, so that's if you have that to hand. So, you know, someone, you've got to really figure out if they're going to see it clearly, hear it clearly. We have also used the use of a Bluetooth speaker for someone that is hard of hearing, because having an iPad or some sort of tablet, you may not be able to get a great sound from it. It could be a bit tinny sometimes. So connecting to a Bluetooth has really worked really well, and also a headset for people with hearing impairment. Another way of using it as well, which we've used, is a lounge for small groups, okay? So you can really go to town with this. You can set the scene, set the ambience. You can offer tea, coffee, make the room look really welcoming, okay? A nice, comfortable atmosphere. And then what we tend to do is sort of research. You have an idea of the residents who might want to come along. Research your residents to see what their past hobbies, interests, lifestyles were like, because that really does help to really communicate with something that's very meaningful for them. So the popular topics that we've experienced are childhood, family, we've got summertime, teenage years, I'll come back to that later, music, poetry, and also the calming experiences, the sensory tours for people with more advanced dementia, and obviously the animals and pets. Those are the topics, and gardening as well. I mean, I could go on and on really, because there, like I said, there is something for everybody that's to offer on this wonderful resource. And then large group. So large group communal in your communal lounge. And what we did with this one, I wish you were there to see it because it was absolutely amazing. So if you can imagine, we have a large communal lounge. Doesn't matter if you don't have a large communal lounge, doesn't matter, it works, you know, whatever sort of building you've got, where you have maybe 15 residents, and the sort of things you need for it to be more effective is the projector screen or TV. We also have the microphone as well, and we have some props. So for instance, we had the one that's a day at the beach, it's my favorite one. You know, I lose myself in that one. So the day at the beach is fantastic. So what we actually did was we included some sort of seashells, postcards, buckets and spades, swimwear. And we were very fortunate to have a REM pod as well, which is like a pop-up beach scene with a donkey on it. So we use that with the Alive on Demand. and it all came together really, really well. And we were interacting with different sensory touch and feel, and it really complemented the whole of the session. Everybody benefited from that one. Another way we've used it is through a gentleman's club. Yeah. Now, I don't know if anybody's really experienced this throughout the homes, but there seems to be a lot more for ladies than men. You know, so that's something that I really picked up on, you know, to really focus that there should be something for everyone. We need to do more for men. So we have regular men's gentlemen's clubs, and what we do is we use the Alive on Demand. We research our male residents that will be coming along to the session, so do that beforehand, get an idea of who's going to be coming along, and then look through the care plan to see what hobbies, interests they have. You'd be surprised how many people, when you do a generated report, how many people have so much in common, you know. So we've used topics on the Alive on Demand for football, sports, Concord, Bristol myths and legends, vintage machinery, animals and pets. And we have obviously teamed that up with some beer as well. So we have some beer for the gentlemen, well, whatever they want. We try and make it a lovely group where they can learn about each other, can share their experiences. The football one's really good. I like that because, you know, talking about queuing up for your ticket, you know, do you remember queuing for your ticket? Who did you support? And it's got Nicola, who's a presenter in that one, and she's got all the football, and it just sparks really great conversation. So that has gone really well. We'll be repeating that one again as well throughout the homes. You can use it spontaneously. You can offer it to family members. We haven't done that, I must admit, haven't done that one just yet, but we're looking if we have any family members that are visiting their loved one. And sometimes it can be tricky to engage with the person you know so well. It can be quite hard due to their level of dementia that they have, and you just kind of need something, you know. So that's something we're going to do around the homes, even if we have to show a demonstration to the
Oh, it's a shame. I think she's frozen.
The TV, because there's nothing worse than having the news on all the time. Because sometimes, let's face it, the news isn't always great. I understand and respect that residents like to know the updates, but not all the time. And it's a pet hate of mine if I see the television on that's not really of interest to the residents. Right, going on to the last part now, which is about the positive impact on our residents. Am I okay for time? Am I all right?
You've got a few minutes, just a couple of minutes.
Okay, I'm going to whiz through this. Okay, what impact has it had on our residents? Well, I've got two examples I can share, 2, 3. We've got 2 ladies who I held this session, actually. It's just a very small group. We watched the teenage years, where we reminisced about teenage years and going dancing. And the 2 ladies learned that they used to attend the dance hall on the Bristol Downs, which is the Glen, and that their paths may have crossed in time, and they would laugh and joke about the men they used to dance with and date. And it was just hilarious. And it was all because of this Alive on Demand through the teenage years. So that was a really good impact. Another one was the Wallace collection. We had an unexpected positive feedback on that one. The reason why I say unexpected is because some of the residents that we had in that group were not really into art, you know, these wonderful pieces of art, paintings from the 14th. We thought we'd try it anyway, but to my surprise, they absolutely love studying these pieces of art. And one of the residents called Nan was very, very, well, she absolutely loved it. And she wanted to study another piece of art. So there you go. You've got something there for residents that don't necessarily have any interest in it, but they're open to trying new things. The last one is a lovely resident not longer with us anymore. Bless her heart. It's a lady who is hard of hearing and also blind. So the way we communicated with her is she took part of it I think. It's really hard to know that. But we did use the Bluetooth speaker as she lay in bed, and we were playing the orchestra music, and she heard it and she smiled. So she took something in. She really did love it. So
brilliant. I think we'll stop there, Marcia. Thank you. That was such a really, really great sort of example of what you can do. So
you do whatever you can do. That's right. That's it, Karen. I hope okay for time. Thanks for listening.
That's fine, Marcia. Thank you very much.
Karen, can I just
come back to you?
Can I jump in and just say one thing? Just to follow on. Thank you so much for that, Marcia. So we're not expecting everybody to be tech experts at all. We want to support you all along the way with a live on demand. So if anybody is interested, give me a call. I'll pop my details in the chat, and I can come round to your home and see what tech you've got and what your residents would value, and just sort of go through it with you and sort out the best way to utilise the platform.
Lovely. There has been a question in the chat which Isobel has actually answered, but basically Lisa said, is it suitable for people who are not living with dementia? So as I say, Isobel has answered the question anyway, but and also have put your details in the chat, Ben, for anybody who wishes to make contact with you. So
thank you. It's a dementia friendly platform. It's not solely for those living with dementia.
Brilliant. Okay, thank you so much to all three of you for presenting today. I've made some notes, and first of all, congratulations on the award. That is amazing, isn't it? That is so well deserved. Thank you. So, I mean, my history of Alive goes back a long, long time ago, when it was first sort of kicked off many years ago by, is it Tim, I believe? And I know I've used Alive in the homes I was working in, so I can't praise it enough. So, and Tuesdays for new releases. So everybody look out for Tuesdays. So thank you so much. If nobody has any other questions, we've got somebody coming in, joining us. Oh, it's a shame they've missed the first part, but anyway, it's good that they're coming back. So if nobody has any questions, I'm going to hand you over to Ollie, our second part of our presentation. I'm quite excited about this one. So thank you to Alive and Marcia, Ben and Isobel. And Ollie, you've got the stage.
Hi there. Can everybody hear me okay?
Yeah, perfect. Yeah.
Great, okay. Yeah, thanks for that. It was really interesting. My name's Ollie. I'm from the charity Vegetarian for Life. We are the only charity that supports older vegetarians and vegans. And by that, we offer grants and one-to-one support. We also have a team of roving chefs, one based in Scotland, one in the north, one in the Midlands, and myself in the south. And we go out and we give talks and demonstrations and courses and things like that at Age UK hubs, various charities, lunch clubs, dementia cafes. And we also go into care homes and work with chefs to improve the menu for vegetarian and vegan residents. So you may or may not have vegetarian or vegan residents at the moment, but it's a way of kind of future-proofing, because there's more veggies and vegans than ever before, and obviously as people age, some will be in a care situation. So yeah, it's a really good way of future-proofing as well. I'm just going to talk through a few products and ways of fortifying egg replacements and things like that. More specifically for vegan catering today, and then I'm going to make a quick eggless, creamless creme brulee as well after that. So just to show you what you can do and how simple it can be. But yeah, we also do lots of publications throughout the year. We have like Christmas and Easter publications and guides with recipes in, and guides aimed more at the care sector as well, where we offer menu planning and dietary advice and things like that. They can all be downloaded from the website and also can be sent in hard copy as well. Our website's vegetarianforlife.org.uk. So just to get that out there. Right, I'm going to start with obvious things like plant-based milks. So I'm sure you're all aware of these or you've used them yourself. I don't want to be patronized, I'm just going to sort of cover basics today. So there's things like soy milk, oat milk, almond milk, various nut milks, and they're really good for, you know, hot drinks, teas, coffees. You can just replace these out basically wherever you'd use cow's milk. So they're everywhere, every supermarket, super cheap these days. And then moving on from milk, you have things like cream these days. So this is an oat cream. It's a single cream. There's also ones that can be whipped. There's soya creams and coconut creams, things like that. So again, just use that exactly where you'd use a dairy cream. And then there's cheeses as well. You've probably seen these. There's loads of different brands and own supermarket brands. Also available at all your catering suppliers as well. I know Bid Foods and places like that have loads of vegan products these days. They're quite processed, but really good flavors. This is one from VO Life. It's like a mature cheddar. Yeah, and they can be grated and melted, and again used where you'd use a dairy cheese. We also do various courses aimed at chefs through Vegetarian for Life. One of them is cheese making. So we make cheese from nuts, and yeah, that's more aimed at the kind of professional chefs. If you want to have a look on the website at that, if that's something you're interested in. So moving on to foods, other foods and proteins. We've got tofu. So I'm sure you've heard of tofu before. It's sort of synonymous with vegetarian and veganism, but it's a really good source of protein, B vitamins, calcium. So really good for someone who's obviously not getting any dairy. It comes in a variety of forms. So you get the firm variety of tofu, which is usually in the fridge section in supermarkets and shops. And this is really good for stir fries, for casseroles, things like that. It can be chopped up and fried. It really takes on flavor, and it really crisps up as well. So that's the firm variety. And then you get things like the silken variety. So it's a super smooth one, comes in cartons like this. And it's really good for dessert. So I'm going to use it today, my creme brulee. It's also good for sort of egg replacements, flans, things like that. You can also do like a sort of scrambled egg, vegan scrambled egg with it. So it's a really useful product, super cheap. And that's usually in the sort of more savory aisle, world food type aisles of supermarkets. But all these will be available from catering suppliers as well. There's also things like nut butters. You know, obviously these have been around for years. It's not a specific vegan product, but peanut butter, other nut butters, full of protein and vitamins, really calorific. So really good for someone if you need to fortify, put it in shakes and bakes and desserts and things like that. So that's really good for that. And then you have things like mock meats. I've got a lot more sort of popular recently. They're very processed, but definitely have their place. Usually in the frozen section or fridge section, usually made from soy and various other things. And things like jackfruit. I don't know if you've heard of this. You can get it everywhere again these days. It's not that high in protein or anything like that, but it's got a really good texture. It's almost like sort of pulled pork. So it's good for burritos and things like that. And then there's pulses, nuts, covered nuts, beans. So again, really full of vitamins and proteins. And you could just use these in your spaghetti bologneses, your chilies, things like that. And you're going to get all your vitamins and minerals that you need. lentils, good fact for you, lentils actually have more protein than beef, gram for gram. Obviously, you'd need slightly more of the lentils because it doesn't weigh as much. But yeah, also full of loads of B vitamins and everything you need. You can get, you don't need to eat meat or dairy to get a full spectrum of vitamins. You just have to eat a sort of variety of foods. The only thing we would say you'd supplement with would be perhaps a little bit of B12 and vitamin D as well if you don't get enough sunlight. Mushrooms are also a good thing to eat. They can contain small amounts of vitamin D and B12 as well. Then we've got things like protein powders. So you get pea protein, soy protein. This is actually hemp protein. And again, good for adding to soups and stews and also shakes as well. It's a really good way of getting calories up and extra protein without you really sort of tasting that as well. Nuts as well, covered nut butters, but just nuts as well. You've got your nut roast and chuck them into cashew nuts into stir fries, things like that. What else have I got here? So I've got some gram flour, which is made from chickpeas, also called chickpea flour. And this is really, really good for swapping out regular flour in bakes. It's a super cheap ingredient. And it's also quite sort of sticky and viscous, so it's good for egg replacements in cakes and bakes. It's good in pancakes and things like that. But it's got a much higher protein content being made from pulses than regular flour. So it's a really good, useful ingredient in the kitchen. And I've also got this stuff, which is nutritional flakes. I don't know if you've seen this. You can find it in all big supermarkets these days as well. It's a deactivated yeast. Doesn't sound very nice, but it's actually really tasty. It's got a lovely sort of tangy, cheesy flavor. It's good for sauces, making a cheese sauce, for example. And it's also fortified with B12 and a bunch of other things like folic acid, biotin. It's just a really excellent product to have in the larder. Okay, so I better get cooking. Got some boiling water here. I've got some cashew nuts, 75 grams of just raw cashew nuts here. And I'm gonna add some agar, which is a little bit of a specialist ingredient, I guess, much more than the others that I've mentioned. But again, you can get it in lots of supermarkets. So a tablespoon of agar, and it's like a gelling agent. So it's kind of like a replacement to gelatin. It's got a higher boiling point than gelatin. So it's a bit more robust than gelatin. And it's made from seaweed. It's extracted from walls of various seaweeds. A really great product. Goes a long way. So again, it's a good thickening agent. You can, if you want to thicken a soup or something, or use it exactly how you'd use gelatin. So this is going to be a bit noisy. I'm just going to blitz the cashew nuts with the agar into a sort of fine powder. Sorry about the noise.
It's actually relatively quiet, actually. I think noises sometimes don't come through. People speaking do, but outside noises don't seem to come through, so we're okay. Thank you.
Well, that's good, because we're actually having our kitchen renovated as well, and I can hear loads of bangs, and not our kitchen, bathroom, sorry. So that's good. So I've got this fine powder. I can already see it's kind of sticky from the gelatin, from the agar breaking down. And that goes into my pan. And I'm going to add some boiling water. So about 350 milliliters of water. which is about 2 cups. Anybody works in cups. And I'm just going to put that on a low heat and use a stick blender or hand blender to just incorporate all that powder into the liquid. Make sure there's no lumps as well. Obviously. You just want to create a nice smooth custard essentially. You can actually just use this as custard when it's finished instead of setting it like you will for the creme brulee. So I've added half the water. It's already sort of thickened up a little bit. I'm going to add the rest of the water gradually and just keep that mixing. We don't want to boil it, we're just going to keep it on the gentle heat just for a minute or so before we then add some of the silken tofu which I talked about just before. So then about 180 grams of tofu, which is about half of one of these sachets. And then the sweetness, I'm going to use some maple syrup. It gives this a lovely flavour. You could just use any other sugar. I know maple syrup's not the cheapest thing in the world. And about 60 millilitres of the maple syrup. Back on the blend. Grate out all that tofu. Incorporate it into the liquid. Again, we're aiming for a nice smooth custard, so no lumps, no bits. We're going to keep blending that for a few minutes. Add some vanilla bean extract. Just adds a lovely flavour, that traditional sort of creme brulee flavour. And then I'm also going to add a pinch of turmeric, which is a bit weird, but it gives it that kind of yellow custardy colour. Obviously don't add too much. You don't want it to taste of turmeric, it'd be horrible and bitter, but just a little pinch for the colour. Just keep blending that. So ideally, I'd probably blend that for maybe a couple more minutes. I think that'd be a bit boring to watch. So the next thing we do, get another pan, fine mesh sieve, and we're going to pour that through. This will make sure we've got a nice refined, silky custard without any bits. And we'll keep that on the burn for probably about 10 minutes. And what will happen, that custard will thicken more. It will start collecting around the sides. So you want to keep bringing it down with a spatula, keep it on the move, try not to boil it. And you get a nice, lovely thick custard, which you could use over your dessert, over your cakes, your spotted dip, whatever you're serving, or you can put it into ramekins, little espresso mugs I've got here, pop it in the fridge, and that will set in a couple of hours. Oop. into a nice creme brulee style dessert. So I made some earlier, obviously. Made a big one here in the only ramekin I could find in my kitchen today for some reason. I don't know where they've gone. And you can see that's a lovely set dessert, nice and thick, got a bit of a wobble. You can make a looser one if you want. There's various different ways of having creme brulee. And then just some white caster sugar over the top. Nice even layer. Again, little chef torch. You can do this under the grill as well. So it's a bit more fun. Just caramelize that sugar. Get a classic creme brulee crispy top. It takes 10 seconds or so. And you've got classic creme brulee. It should have a nice, yeah, there we go, nice crunch, nice hard top. And then you can see you've got that lovely silky cream custard in there as well. And it's great. Lovely and sweet. You've got the vanilla in there. And it's also full of calories from the nuts, from the tofu. It's kind of a healthy dessert in a way. I think you've got a bit of sugar on the top, but yeah, it's a healthy dessert. I'd have that for breakfast, I think. So yeah, that's me. If there's any questions, please go ahead.
I'm laughing because Ben said he's hungry, he could eat that now, and I'm thinking I could eat that now myself. That was brilliant. Thank you, Ollie. You made it look so simple. Goodness me.
It is simple.
Well, for some, maybe. Does anybody have any questions for Ollie? Okay, so Ben is saying, is it much more expensive to eat vegan all the time?
No, I think that's a kind of common misconception. I mean, obviously, if you're buying all these products that are in the shops now, or these very processed products, then yeah, probably it could be. But certainly if you're using lots of pulses, lots of grains, beans, you know, that's so cheap, especially if you buy like the dried beans and soak them as well, which you easily would do in a professional kitchen. Nut milks, perhaps, no, I don't know. I don't even know the price of a pint of milk these days. But yeah, maybe slightly more expensive, but you can certainly buy own brands. Soy milk, this is Tesco. There are other supermarkets available. Own brand soy, which is, I think, a pound. So yeah, it's really not. I don't think it is more expensive. It's perhaps even cheaper.
I think prices are slowly reducing, aren't they, for vegan food? I think it's they were extremely expensive. They were, but I do think it's slightly reducing. One thing's crossed my mind in a lot of nursing homes with people with dementia. There are people who need to be on thick and easy to allow them to digest or swallow the food.
Yeah.
There's a lot of nuts involved, isn't there, with vegan food? And I'm just wondering how that sort of, how you sort of overcome the sort of choking aspect to.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't have to involve nuts, like I said. Tofu is a super soft product. Beans, pulses, all can be blended, blitzed. Obviously, vegetables can be cooked down and stewed. We're actually developing a dysphagia guide at the moment, which will be coming out, I think, later this year. So yeah, we're well aware of this, and we definitely work with care home chefs on this as well. On various textures of things. So yeah, it's definitely something we're aware of.
Well, if you can let me know when it's out, we can get it published out on our newsletter. Lisa is saying that she's a vegetarian and don't like lentils or chickpeas. Any suggestions for her, please?
Yeah, of course. So all these mock meats we talk about, they're full of flavour because they're quite processed. So, and also tofu, which really takes on flavour. So if you add it to curries and stir fries and things, it's really just going to absorb all that flavour. Tofu is just a brilliant product. So perhaps the firm one, which can be marinated as well, and then it'll really suck in flavour. And also great texturally as well when it crisps up. You can bake it as well. It's just super versatile. I've turned it into meatballs before, again with all the sort of classic herbs and spices you put in meatballs. Also cheese sauces, really good using this stuff. What else? Yeah, but as your basis, if you don't like lentils, I think pulses are really good. Sorry, not pulses. Beans, really good as well. Really, you know, can lend themselves in the same way. Also, sweet potato as well can be used. We've used it for like brownies and things like that.
I think it's important to ensure people receive the correct amount of protein and the vitamins that you substitute. Lisa says, thank you for your advice. I'm reading it from the chat. So, does anybody have any more questions for Ollie? Is there anything else you'd like to sort of cream from his experience whilst we got him here? Are you so you're based in the south, so you actually go out to visit care homes? Whereabouts, because we're sort of like west, if you like, so whereabouts would you normally sort of visit? Would you go anywhere, or is it a case of
it really depends. So we're a charity, self-funded, but we do ask for donations now, so we'll travel any distance essentially if it covers costs, you know, travel and ingredients and things like that. But we're doing more virtual classes as well, especially since lockdown. We've really embraced that, which can work really well, as you can see here. I mean, you can't really replace the hands-on tasting and things like that, obviously. But yeah, so we do a lot of virtual cookery and classes.
Okay.
But yeah, essentially, my area is down to the deepest depths of Cornwall.
Okay. Yeah. Emma's actually asked, how do you encourage care home chefs to incorporate veggie and vegan meals into their menus? You've got a special knack.
Well, I think they have to, really. I mean, like I said before, it's future-proofing. There's going to be, if they don't have a vegetarian or vegan resident at the moment, they will do.
Yeah, yeah, I think I agree with Emma. Is, you know, there is a stigma around veggie and vegan meals. Chefs are still sort of a little bit blinkered as to, I think, the cost implication, because everybody's working from quite a small budget and trying to get the best out of their budget, and I think that's very much a situation. And also it means to say cooking several meals or two separate sort of, especially with, you have to keep the food separate from if you're cooking meat dishes, so it adds complications too.
Absolutely. I mean, yeah, our job is, you know, essentially to go in there and inspire them a little bit and show them how easy it is, and also show them a variety of recipes that are not only nutritionally balanced but exciting for the resident to eat. We've got loads of recipes on our website as well. The other thing I was going to say about what you were just saying, there's been cases of people who are living with dementia who have actually been fed meat in care homes where we've sort of gone in to re-educate chefs. It's happened a couple of times to our knowledge. I'm sure it's happened a lot more. because the resident has asked for, you know, bangers and mash or whatever, just because they're used to having vegetarian sausages and mash, and then them being fed meat. So that's a really awful situation to be in. So it's really trying to educate as well.
Worthwhile promoting this. So I think this is a really, really excellent presentation. So thank you, Ollie. I really appreciate it. And if anybody has any other questions, if not, then I will stop the recording. Are we all okay? Right.